friends. Welcome back to All This on and More. We're going to get a little bit more in depth into my February reads because there were too many of them. Abel and Brodrick by Katee Robert are the only two actually published in her Sabine Valley series. It is meant to be a Seven Brides for Seven Brothers retelling. And who is talking this much about political intrigue during sex? I really could not get into these characters. I couldn't do it. I get why she didn't finish the series. I get it. But I am a little sad about it in that, especially more in book 2, where you start to hear more about the other brothers and what's going on behind the scenes. You're getting snippets of what's happening with their brides. And just, there are scenes that are mentioned that I want to read. What do you mean somebody threw a tampon at somebody? Excuse me? I do want that, but maybe they'll just release like a short story version. I know Katee has come out about how these characters just aren't talking to her, and I get it. Like, she's got some other series that are doing way better for her, and I am also 100% reading those, so yeah, I get it. Long Live Evil by Rees, Brennan. This was so good. Imagine that your little sister, who's like the light of your life, is obsessed with Narnia. And so you've read a couple books, you understand the basic plot points, and you sort of know what's going on. Except something happens and now you're in that world, but you're also the bad guy. You're trying to remember what happens because you're trying to make it happen, but you also don't want to die. And that's totally what happens in this one. This was wild. Titan by Jillian Graves. This book tells you right on the cover exactly what it is. This is a gargoyle daddy dom romance. I am not a daddy dom kind of girl. I'm not going to call you daddy. That is not my jam. And the only man on the face of this planet who can get away with calling me baby girl is Shamar Moore. He can call me whatever he wants to. That being said, I still went into this because I am a gargoyle girly. This was super spicy. You're going into this because it's spicy. 100%. It felt like a 3-episode arc of Disney's Gargoyles, but for grown-ups who like really dirty things. To Ravage a Rogue by C.M. Nacosta, who you might be familiar with because they wrote the infamous Minotaur Milking Farm, which I also read and was fantastic. He is a sea captain who is half something, and she has like shapeshifter abilities of some sort. I'm not going to tell you anything because you should just read it. This was wild. Enemies to lovers, but sort of. I can't explain anything that happens in this book properly. Just shut up and read it. Just anytime anything is written by C.M. Nacosta, they're fantastic. Just do it. Just read it. Unfortunately Yours by Tessa Bailey. I'm sure you've heard me talk about this before if you saw my underrated rom-com series. I think I actually liked this better than the first one. This is a marriage of convenience. She is basically a wine heiress, and he is trying to run a winery in the memory of his best friend. They have to get married, sort of save each other. Her dad has really old values. But for her to get a hold of her trust fund, she has to get married. And he needs money. And it's a whole thing. Just read it. Tessa Bailey is always fun. It's always a win with Tessa Bailey. Scythe and Sparrow by Brianna Weaver. Listen, I loved Butcher and Blackbird. I loved Leather and Lark. So of course, I pre-ordered the audiobook for Scythe and Sparrow. If you've read the series, this is a couple you've already seen. She's a circus performer. He is a doctor. If you're not already reading the series, you should. Check your triggers because it is a dark romance, but along the lines of Lights Out, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Graves. Absolute classic. It is a woman in the early 1900s who goes on holiday with her husband, but she's not feeling super well, and so he tells her that she needs to stay in this room with weird-ass yellow wallpaper, and she goes nuts. It's super atmospheric, very creepy. I do love me a gothic horror, and this is along those lines. To Conquer a Bride by Naima Simone. She is a shipping heiress. She's about to get into a marriage of convenience, but also her grandpa's missing. She ends up getting kidnapped by the groom's brother, who is estranged from his family, and romance and adventure ensue. My Darling Dreadful Thing by Joanna von Vier is a gothic, sapphic horror about a girl who has a spirit that is attached to her, but also is pretending to be a spiritual medium because her mom makes her do it, and she does a seance for a widow, and then the widow comes back and buys her from her mom, and romance and weird shit ensue. This book was amazing. This book was so incredible. Like, the atmosphere is so weird and like sort of creepy and scary, and the shit this girl does because she thinks it's gonna make her crush happy. I can't even get a text back. I need you to read this book. If you have not heard of Kimberly Leeming's That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon, like, where are you? What have you been doing? Have you been under a rock? Like, you should just read it. It is a girl named Cinnamon whose family owns a farm, ends up saving a demon after a drunken night, and then has to go on an adventure with him, and it's so fun. It is so hilarious. Just get out of your rock. Climb out from under the rock and read it. Dataclysm by Christian Rudder. Christian Rudder was the CEO of OkCupid, and they were never quiet about the fact that they were collecting every ounce of data. This data did come out of 2014. Honestly, a lot of it holds up. It is a really interesting deep dive into gender, race, sexuality. But again, the way we were talking about sexuality in 2014 is not the same way we're talking about it now. Sprinkled in the Stars by Violet Morley is a sapphic, meet-cute rom-com. Single mom and EMT ends up running into celebrity. There's a couple of meet-cutes, then she ends up saving her life. Celebrity wants to invite her and her daughter over for dinner as like a thank you. This was a really cute read. I recommend. My Sister the Serial Killer by Oyinkan Braithwaite was incredible. Female rage and humor. Our FMC's little sister has a habit of offing her gentleman callers and calling her sister to come help. Super quick read, absolutely worth it. That was a delight. I'm Engaged to Mothman by Paige Lavoie. They have to go back and meet his family. That's a whole thing. Was not as fun as the first one. Goddess of Filth by V. Castro. Absolute fucking 100% read this immediately. This book was so good. A group of teenage girls summon something they're not supposed to, and somebody gets possessed. Some things ensue. Super quick read, thoroughly amazing. The Witches by Roald Dahl. If you are an old like me, you were probably raised on this movie, and the book holds up. Why didn't I read this when I was younger? I should have read it when I was younger. I was reading Easy O Trot. Why couldn't I be reading this one? Becoming Dangerous, edited by Kate West and Jasmine Elliott. It was really inspirational. It really was. I think it's very important that we're always making a point to hear other people's views on things, because I think there is magic in that in itself. We should always be learning about other people's backgrounds and how other people view the world. I think that's something that's really important. And I loved hearing all of the different ways that magic and power sort of relates to them. But I do want to make a note to check your triggers. They do have a trigger warning list before every single essay. And also, I am a big audiobook girly. This audiobook came out in 2019, which was before Elliot Page did. So there is a point, at least in the audiobook, where they are dead named. I suspect in any printed copies, there is a little notation in there about Elliot Page becoming Elliot Page. The book came out before they did. Flock by Kate Stewart is the first in the Ravenwood series. This is a spicy Robin Hood retelling. I'm half and half on whether or not I'm going to finish the series. I didn't particularly care about these characters, but the spice is spicy. Like, the spice is spicy. A Brush with Love by Maisie Eddings. This was delightful. My favorite thing with rom-coms is I love the bestie banter. I really do. So good. So good. Read this immediately, please. Read this. Blood Moon and the Stone and the Star are novellas, both by Jillian Graves. I read these both in one night. They are definitely smaller in comparison to Titan, which I mentioned earlier. We're reading this because we are here for one thing, and it delivers. If I had to choose between the two, this was tops. Honestly, I think I may have liked this even a little bit better than Titan. Titan was fun. Blood Moon is about a witch named Hazel who owns a bar named Witch Hazel. And across the street is a bar owned by Vlad. He's a vampire and he is taking business away from her. What are they going to do? Eat each other. They do each other. That's the whole. They do each other. This was delightful, okay? This was great. This was something else. Polysecure by Jessica Fern. I'm a psych major. I'm also polyamorous. And I felt like this was a really fantastic way of explaining all of that in a way that doesn't hurt your brain, because it's my senior year at university and it's my last term and it's a really intense term and my brain hurts, and this didn't make my brain hurt. But I really enjoyed this, and I think even people who might not have any interest in becoming polyamorous or exploring polyamory or any of that should still read it, because it's a really good read. It really explains attachment theory really, really well. Love Theoretically by Allie Hazelwood. I love me some Allie Hazelwood. I laughed, I cried, I did all the things that happen when you read an Allie Hazelwood book. She continues to amaze, and the spice is spicy. Stay Sexy and Don't Get Murdered by Karen Kilgrave and Georgia Hardstack. I have never listened to the My Favorite Murderer podcast. I know. I've had it recommended to me like a million times. Anybody who knows me knows that I definitely enjoy me some true crime. And somebody gave me the book, just as a whim, like, hey, you might enjoy this. And it's true, I did enjoy this. These women are about my age. The childhood they're talking about is pretty close to the childhood I grew up in. So this definitely hit for me. I also have a lot of the same interests as them. Am I going to listen to the podcast? Probably eventually, but I am in school right now. So right now I'm listening to a lot of audiobooks because that's how I'm getting away from life and not thinking about things, instead of actually reading about Foucault like I have to for my fucking homework. I don't want to read, please don't make me read any more philosophy. That wasn't a problem with this book. That's separate. Just anyway. If you enjoy this podcast, we were raised at some point between the early 80s and late 90s. This was a delight. I enjoyed it. To Win a Witch's Heart by Andy J. Christopher. I couldn't tell you what happened in this story. I know the spice came even a little too quickly, and, like, I guess there was supposed to be plot, but it was hard to follow. I DNF'd this. Immediately DNF'd this. Remedial Magic by Melissa Marr. I also DNF'd this. Like, the lead character and her son get into a car accident that she thinks her ex set up, and then, like, she wakes up in this world where she has to go to a magic school, and she's separated from her son, who she's worried that her husband is gonna kill, but she's, like, way too calm when they won't let her go back to her world to see her son. Also, what the fuck? No. I have nothing good to say about this book. Like, people like it, and that's good for them. It's a whole series. No. That's a no. That's a hard no. Thank you all for joining me on my February read journey. You may have noticed there's a little bit of a witch theme going on with some of these. I am going to be talking about witch fiction in the upcoming CTWC Brew, From Print to Page, Raising Her Crit Rich Voice, which is happening April 5th. I'm really excited to be speaking along some fantastic guests. Lane Smith, author of 78 Acts of Liberation, Trey Dorn, author of the Rose and Witch series, and host of the BS Free Witchcraft podcast, as well as Lee Cotman, author of the Good Enough Pagan newsletter. And all of this is being hosted by Alex Reck, who is our zine queen. That's going to be happening April 5th. Definitely check out the CTWC website. Sign up for this free virtual event. If you've never been to a brew before, definitely hit us up. Feel free to send me a message and I'll do my best to answer it and get you more information. Thanks for joining us.